Do you have a brilliant startup idea but are stuck in the launching phase? Are you feeling overwhelmed by funding, marketing, or just where to start? Don't let your startup idea stay grounded. Visit our website at eapla.com to schedule a Blue Couch meeting and launch your startup journey today.
Welcome back to On The Cusp, and you're going to love this. This episode is going to be great. I got Matt, my co-host, back with me. Matt, who do we got today?
Oh, man, we got Zach Parker from Shreveport Bossier Bingo Supply, and we're about to talk some bingo, and bingo is a wild world that not many people know about, I don't think.
I would agree with that.
I mean, this thing is way different than your old school carnival bingo that we all grew up
So,
with.
Zach, what is Bingo Supply?
So in a nutshell, I own a bingo supply company, and my job is to supply the 501c3s that have licenses in Louisiana to hold bingo. I supply them with the bingo paper, the bingo ink, pull tabs, which is a side game, and also now bingo has moved on to electronic handsets that essentially plays bingo for you. So we took the paper, put it on a computer, and it plays it for you.
Now, how did you start this company?
So I did not start it myself. In 2001, my grandfather started it. And in 2014, he started to get sick. I graduated college that year, and I eventually decided to start working for him to keep the business in the family. And
it's been in Shreveport Bossier forever.
Correct, yes.
Now, how far out do you go outside Shreveport Bossier?
So all the way down to Gretna, Louisiana. So I service 9 halls throughout the state of Louisiana.
So these are bingo halls that are doing bingo 6 nights a week, or?
Correct.
I mean, these are full on.
Yeah, the one here in Shreveport plays 7 nights a week, but then if you go down to Gretna, Louisiana, they play 25 times a week. So it's
25.
Okay, so hold on. So I've been to one of these on Shreveport Barksdale. This does not resemble old school bingo as much as it resembles, like my grandfather put in video poker machines. He was one of the early video poker guys. This seems way more like gambling to me than old school bingo.
Yes, it's definitely gambling, but I like to call it fundraising with a twist, because like you're gambling, but the money is going to a good cause.
So are most of the prizes cash?
Yes, so it's all cash, the prizes. I would say 99% of the prizes is cash.
Gotcha. So you're playing bingo, and this round is worth whatever, a grand.
Usually 100 to 500, all the way up to 1,000, and then you got progressive jackpots up to 25,000.
Wow.
So,
So this is somebody going into one of these bingo parlors, okay, buying 25 cards, okay, and they're playing for money every time on this.
Correct. So normally you go in, you buy your paper pack and your computer pack, and there's 10 to 15 games depending on what hall you're at, and each game is worth a different amount of money.
I want to hear about the customer. Give me the bingo demographics. Who is playing bingo in these halls?
So, the stereotype is still there where it is an older crowd, but I would say your typical demographic is women 35 and up.
So yeah, what percentage of these are women? If we get 100 people in the bingo hall, how many are women?
85% for sure.
85%.
Yeah.
Wow, I never knew that. But if you're a not-for-profit organization, you team with the parlor for your fundraiser, and people come during that period and play. Is that the way it kind of works?
Correct. So my company is for-profit, but my customers are non-profit. So to give you guys an example, in Shreveport, we have charities like Southern University, Parkway Band Boosters, Southwood Band Boosters, Air Force Sergeants Association. So all those charities take up a night of the week in raising money for their own causes.
I gotcha.
Yeah.
So the hall is ran by somebody. Is the hall for profit?
Yes.
And that's ran by somebody. You supply the equipment, the stuff.
Correct.
And then the nonprofit
essentially rents out
It's-
the space in the hall.
I got you.
Yeah,
Cool.
And that's how it runs.
And God,
And
so
you're doing this all the way to South Louisiana and all these halls.
Yeah, I was just in New Orleans yesterday, so I do a lot of traveling for work.
Now,
So
So, Zach, where are you from?
originally Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania.
Wow. And you got to be a Steelers fan.
Yes, yeah.
Okay.
so how did you end up
hard.
in Shreveport? Give us that story.
So the quick story on that, I guess I would say, is that in 2012, I moved to New Orleans where my grandfather was living to live with him to go to Loyola University
Yeah.
to get my college degree. And 2014, when I graduated, unfortunately, he started to get really sick. So at that time, I made a life decision to help him, run the business and keep the business alive and essentially keep it within our family. And the home base for the company was always Shreveport. So that's what moved me to
Your
Shreveport.
Loyola is so awesome. My sister went to Loyola. I love that part of
Yeah, it
New
was,
Orleans.
it was
I
a
mean,
good
That's a
time.
good place to go to school.
Yes, it was a great time.
That's got to be a lot more fun than Pittsburgh.
Yeah,
for a college
New
kid.
Orleans in general, I mean, I would love to move back there.
So the corporate headquarters was always in Shreveport. You were running the business out of Shreveport. You moved here, took it over. What's your observations on Shreveport?
It's definitely a growing city from, 10, so I've been here for 10 years now. I can say it's definitely growing. I love that we're getting that chasing aces, I believe it is, because I was always like, why don't we have a Top Golf,
Yeah.
So it's a great city. For me personally, I would love to see more things like Dave & Buster's, entertainment facilities, because I think the city can do it.
Me too. That's really what, I mean, that's the big thing. We have filled a lot of gaps over the last 20,
Right.
30 years, and that's the big glaring gap to me. There is tons of places for adults to go have a nice drink or go out or whatever. There is not near enough places to take a family and go do
We always
something.
debate, we think we're very hard on ourselves. We, people from Shreveport Bossier, are very hard on this region. What's your observation about that?
Could you, when you say hard on ourselves, like
We're
what do you-
quick to criticize that. Oh, there's nothing to do. There's too much crime. There's too much of this, too much of that.
Yeah.
And those negative things to us always percolate to the top. That's why Matt and I started this podcast. We want to talk about positive things. The fact that you can run a bingo business that's a statewide
I would have never thought
business,
that could have been a full-time
I never
business.
would have thought that.
Yeah, I definitely would agree with you. There needs to be more optimism because, if you're optimistic about something, you definitely can make it happen. So I think if the city came together as a unit, I think you guys could thrive for sure.
Yeah, so I want to get back to the bingo because I love the bingo talk. In a bingo hall in Shreveport, Louisiana, on a random night, how many people are in this bingo hall?
Currently about 100. 15 years ago, it was 200 to 250. So
Now, do you
Hundreds
see
of
this as
players
you're
each
competing
night.
with the casinos?
yeah, I mean, they're definitely competition, but it's two different types of players. Casino players, I would say, are more of your slot players. Bingo players are more of your kind of social gamblers who want to sit at a table, talk with their friends, and kind of like a community in it.
So they're going in groups and sitting with their
Right,
friends.
they
or-
got groups and
Yeah.
they're ordering a beverage and playing 5 cards. I can play 5 cards. What's the most cards you've ever seen somebody play?
I've seen a lady have as much paper as 21 faces in front of her, which is a lot.
21.
And she's dabbing. Is this
Yeah.
old school? Those big dauber things?
Yeah, she's dabbing it. She's dabbing
Dude,
it.
that's a wild.
And
Have
is
you
that
ever
the
seen
right,
that,
Is that
Dave?
the right term, dabbing?
Yeah,
is that what it is?
It's dabbing,
yes.
not dabbing.
It's dabbing.
Well, I guess since I'm younger, I would say dabbing, but it might be dabbing either way.
Dabbing or dabbing? You got a dabber in each hand.
You got 21
double
cards.
dabbing.
When
like-
he says B21, you
better dab
you better
fast.
be moving quick.
Yeah.
Okay.
and some of those callers, they call very quick. So like B1, B2, like you don't got a lot of time to dab that paper. So it's it takes some skill.
Now, do the callers work for you?
They work for the charity.
They work for the charity.
Yes.
Okay, so you're just going in. You set everything up, and they bring in their operation. And
Yeah, you bring the stuff.
Correct. Yeah.
Man, so this just proves to me that, like, when we talk about being an entrepreneur, it doesn't matter what your idea is, and it may sound out there for some. If you came to me and said, "Hey, I'm about to start a bingo supply company," I'd be like, "Dude, like that. There's got to be a better idea than that."
No, I agree. When my grandfather told me what he did, I looked at him like he was crazy. But then, I realized like it's an actual commercial industry, especially in the South, and I mean,
Dude, I love it. That's just like what you know and what your world.
now, obviously,
do
it's
it.
obviously it's state regulated.
correct.
Right?
Yes.
So the state,
Heavily, I would think.
issues the license to the bingo facility.
Correct,
Right.
yep.
And that's who has the license. You don't have to have a license. You're just
I have to have a license.
you
too.
have to have a license
Yep.
too.
Yep. So we're
Because the electronic stuff, I'm thinking, I mean, that's almost like a slot machine at that point. I mean, because like,
so we have the handsets that play the bingo, but we also have electronic upright machines that are called video bingo
yeah.
that resemble a slot machine.
Yeah, they were doing that in all the racetracks in Alabama back in the days when they couldn't get slot machines.
Mm-hmm.
They're video bingo, but I mean, it's very similar to a slot machine.
Exactly. It
Yeah.
is. But we are regulated by the state through Office of Charitable Gaming.
On
Alabama.
the holidays when all my kids come in, we have a bingo night and we play bingo, and I go out and buy lots of prizes so that every game, right, there's a winner.
Are you dabbing?
Yes.
You dabbing,
yes, we are. We buy the set and we play. But I think now what I'm going to do is, rather than do that, I'm just going to take them to the bingo parlor and let them play for money since
Yeah,
they're all 21.
That's going to be a field trip. You
Yeah,
should video
it-
that. I want to see that.
Yeah, all load up and go. Because we used to do bowling. Okay, there for a while they loved to bowl, and we'd go bowling. But we weren't betting on bowling or anything like that. But this could be a lot of fun.
I went with my family members when I was young, like right out of college, probably a little after college, to Alabama on some meetings of some different stuff. And we went to one of these video bingo places. And this, to skirt the laws, you couldn't win cash. So you won prizes. And then next door was a pawn shop that bought the prizes from you.
Oh,
So
boy,
you
that's-
won whatever it was, and it's worth $500, and you got to go sell it for $500 to the pawn shop. Then they put it as the prize back.
Oh,
It
that.
was
I
a
like
wild
that. I like
west.
that. Yeah, that's,
It was the wild west of like getting around gambling
So
laws.
Zach, what's next for bingo? Where do you see this going?
so I believe brick and mortar is always going to be there to some degree. Obviously, attendance is declining, and that's because we have sports betting now, online gaming, more casinos. But for bingo, for me personally, to survive, we got to take it online and put it on the phone. So just how
Yeah.
sports betting you
Yeah.
used to go to your bookie,
Yeah.
you got to put bingo on the phone, in my eyes, for it to last another 30 plus years.
Yeah.
Because we've just reached that digital age where people are going to probably choose to stay home and be more convenient, just the Blockbuster to Netflix type of deal.
That's so true. You got to be doing that. So how do you market your services when you go out? And I'm sure you're trying to add. You can't be the only person in this industry supporting these parlors.
No, so there's four of us, 4 distributors in the state. As far as marketing, the halls tend to either do radio, billboard, or I find to be the most effective is actually word of mouth. So like if a group of people go play bingo and have a good time and tell their friends, more people are going to come. So I think word of mouth is definitely the best marketing tool I've seen so far.
Yeah, you're definitely right. I mean, it is definitely up against. There's a lot more competition in this world with online sports betting.
Do you have to be 21 to go into the and play?
So every hall can actually set their own age limit. Most halls allow children of 12 and up. But to play the upright machines, you have to be 18.
Interesting.
Well, man, I'm glad to have learned that this is a business. I'm glad you're doing this out of Shreveport, man.
Definitely.
If we can ever be any help to you,
Yeah,
let us know.
absolutely.
Yeah, no,
absolutely. This
thank
is
you
great.
guys very
and
much.
hey, sorry about the Steelers last night, man. I did not see that coming.
No, we should have won that game, and that's going to hurt me for the next week. But you
Yeah.
know, on to Cincinnati next week. So.
Yeah.
Good
All right. Thank you.
Yep.
Thank
Thank
you.
you guys
Perfect.
very much. Appreciate it.
Enjoy the podcast? We would love your feedback about today's show and who you think should be our next guest. Send us an email at info@eapla.com. Also, be sure to share the show and leave a comment on our social media post.